So I've seen so many parents overwhelmed by the sheer amount of information and conflicting advice thrown at them in all types of directions. Now, I don't know about you, but when I feel overwhelmed, my mind gets foggy, my thinking becomes unclear and confused, and I procrastinate because I simply feel stuck. Now, you do this enough times, and you will begin to feel powerless and unsure about whether you're making the right decision. Now, this is a strategy that many business owners use to take advantage of people like us, because they want you to be confused. Because if you're confused, then you're going to want to pay them to help you get unstuck. So many parents fall into this trap. They would rather pay someone else to solve their problems for them rather than work with someone to solve their problems together. But this is a super risky strategy, and it ends up almost always in disaster because you're always going to be in a state of uncertainty. You won't truly know what you're doing is the right thing. And the moment that something goes wrong, the doubt and the worry will show. Your child's going to feel it. When he feels it, they're going to end up losing trust in you. So, guys, I want you guys to just do me a favor here. Just pause for a moment. And take a deep breath. You can even close your eyes if you want. I want you to think about a time when you felt overwhelmed. How much space did you have in your head and body? Not much, right? Look, we've all been there. There's no judgment coming from me here. Right? But we all know that it's not a good place to be. Now, personally, the best way that I know how to deal with overwhelm that has worked tremendously well for me, and I know will work well for you, is to focus on the next smallest step that you can take. Focus on that. What that specifically looks like on your test prep journey is to gather foundational knowledge about the SAT and ACT. Now, guys, foundational knowledge is simply just basic information about the two tests. Format and structure of the test, the content and topics, the timing, and so on. Now, you don't have to know everything at this point about the two tests. At this point, there are just 3 foundational pieces of knowledge you'll want to gather. So 1, the differences in subject and content between the SAT and the ACT. 2, the format and structure of each test. And 3, right, the timing. Now, we don't have the time to go over each of these points in detail in this video, but if you're interested in learning about the SAT and ACT in depth, you can simply watch my next video in my channel, right? In that video, I'll cover everything that you need to know about the 2 exams, right? The format, the structure, the content, the timing, the similarities, the differences, and I'll even share my thoughts from my personal experiences studying for and taking the test, and my opinions about which types of students are better suited for which test. Okay? Cool. So now that you understand the foundational knowledge piece about the test, it's also important to get some foundational knowledge about the test taker. Right? So we have knowledge about the test, knowledge about the test taker. Now, if you're a parent whose number 1 priority is to support your child and put them in the best place to succeed, I'd highly recommend asking your child to watch the student version of this video so that you guys can both be on the same page. Just make sure to ask them kindly, please, right? Demanding children to do anything rarely works. I know this, and I'm sure you know this, especially in the way that you want. So what I found works best for me is to approach them when you're feeling good and just open, like you have a lot of space. And make sure that you get to a place in your mind and body where you want nothing more than just to love on and support your child. No expectations, no resentment, no doubts, no condition. Now, just to help you guys out a little bit further, here's a simple script that you can use with your child that's worked well for me with the kids that I've taught. So you can say something like, well, hey, child's name, right? Like, so, hey, whatever. Hey, Sam. Hey, John. I came across this video that talks about how to decide between the SAT and ACT. I think it could be really helpful for both of us to understand more about it together. Would you be willing to watch it on your own time? I promise, no pressure from me. I just want to support you and make sure that we're making the best decision for you, right? What do you think? So Also, you guys, when you're doing this, make sure that you practice it enough times to the point where you believe you. Right? I recommend doing this in front of a mirror until it feels completely natural and sincere. Right? This is something that, the best influencers and salesmen do, right, when preparing for a presentation or a pitch. Now, if it doesn't work, then no worries. I have some other sort of ninja tricks for you later on, right? But for now, just keep doing the work and taking it step by step as that incredible, unconditionally loving parent that you are, and your child will come around, right? So anyways, back to our topic, you guys. Gathering foundational knowledge about your child, right? A sad and unfortunate problem that I see too many parents make is that they get so caught up with the test, that they neglect their kid, right? They assume they know their child best and what's best for them. I've seen too many parents assume they know what's best for their child without really taking the time to understand their child's strengths and weaknesses. Now, they might push their child towards the SAT just because it's popular, right, amongst parents in that country or that district, or because other parents recommended it, without realizing that the SAT, right, might be a better fit. Right now, following random advice or trends can lead to unnecessary stress and frustration for both you and your child. Now imagine you guys preparing for a test that doesn't play to your child's strengths. It's exhausting and discouraging, right? Because we all know this. Every child is different, and what works well for one might not work well for another. And so that's why it's so important to gather foundational knowledge about your child. Understand their learning style, their strengths, and the areas where they might need more support. Right? This isn't just about knowing the SAT or ACT. It's about truly knowing your child and what will help them to succeed. So what we should do, you guys, is we should take a step back from the test prep frenzy and just focus on what really matters, right? Which is supporting your child in the best way possible. Right? Now, by doing this, you'll be setting them up for success and making this whole process a lot less stressful for everyone involved. Plus, your child will feel like their voice matters and they're being totally supported. Right? So here's a few simple questions that you can ask your child to better understand their needs and preferences. So you could say, well, hey, enter your child's name, right? Like, I know you're working really hard in school, so I'm just curious, could you rank the subjects or activities that you enjoy the most and feel most confident about? Right? You can give them choices like reading and grammar and math and science, right? That'll help you to identify the areas where a child feels strong and comfortable, right? So like the SAT will focus on evidence-based reading and writing and math, while the ACT includes like English, math, reading, and science, right? So knowing your child's strengths, knowing what they like and are interested in, can really help guide you in choosing the test that best aligns with their abilities. So another question you could ask them is, when you take long tests like the ones you have in school, how do you usually feel? Do you find it hard to stay focused, or do you get easily tired? What about your stress? Do you get stressed out or have high anxiety? So by understanding your child's stamina and ability to manage test duration, right, can really help determine which test format may be less stressful. So guys, the ACT is around 3 hours long and includes 215 questions across 4 sections, while the SAT is a little over 2 hours long with 98 questions across 2 sections. Gives you an idea. Another question is, you could ask them, do you feel more comfortable taking tests on a computer screen or using a pencil and paper? Right now, knowing your child's preferences here for digital versus paper-based testing can help you to decide between the digital SAT and the paper and or online options for the ACT. Now, the SAT is only offered online, whereas the ACT offers both paper and online formats in the US, right? And only computer-based outside the US.